This is a story from ancient China. A long, long time ago, there was a man named Txooj Neeb who moved his family to a valley deep in the mountains. There they built a house and started to farm opium. They farmed for several months, and life was good. Their crops were plentiful and their family was happy. But then one day when Txooj Neeb was working in his opium field, he saw something strange. A huge wild ox was standing in his field destroying his crops. This was no ordinary ox. Its whole body was dark like night, and its glowing eyes shone like fire. It roared with a sound like a tiger, yet twisted and unnatural, making everyone tremble with fear. Txooj Neeb knew well that this was no ordinary wild animal. It was a mountain spirit that took the form of an ox to devour human lives. Txooj Neeb was wise and skilled in spiritual protection. He created wax oxen charms and sealed them with magic incantations, so the spirit could not come near his home. The spirit tried to get close to the house, but as soon as it neared, the wax oxen charms would glow brightly, forcing the spirit to retreat back into the forest. For many days, the spirit of the wild ox kept trying to get close to Txooj Neeb's house, but it was no use. Txooj Neeb's protective charms were too strong. Eventually, the spirit gave up and disappeared into the forest. Life returned to normal, and Txooj Neeb continued to live with his family in peace. But one day, Txooj Neeb and his son went into the forest to gather food. They walked from their opium field into the thick jungle, only a day's journey away. When they arrived, the sky was still bright, yet suddenly it grew completely dark. At once, Txooj Neeb felt in his heart that something dangerous was about to happen. He told his son to gather dry leaves and wood to build a fire. The boy quickly did so, and soon the flames roared high, casting bright light into the dark forest. At that moment, they heard a cry echoing from the mountain above. It was no sound of animal or human. It was an eerie, chilling cry that pierced the heart. Soon the cry drew closer, this time rising from the foot of the mountain. Moments later, it came from the treetops, as though the spirit was flying closer to them. Txooj Neeb warned his son to sit still and keep quiet, watching only the fire. Then Txooj Neeb began his rituals. He chanted ancient words and summoned his wax ox charm, sending it forth with his magic. The wax ox leapt into the darkness, glowing like a star. Instantly, the spirit of the wild ox let out a terrifying roar that filled the whole valley, shaking the trees and scattering the wild animals in panic. But after a short while, the cries faded into silence, disappearing into the night. Txooj Neeb knew the battle was over. He had won. He turned to his son and said, "Pack up our things. We must hurry home." Together they ran back to their house, leaving behind the dark forest and the spirit of the wild ox. From that day on, Txooj Neeb and his family lived in peace, protected by his wisdom and his sacred powers. The spirit of the wild ox never returned, and Txooj Neeb's crops grew tall and strong. He continued to farm opium in the valley, providing for his family and living in harmony with the land. And so the tale of Txooj Neeb, the man who defeated the spirit of the wild ox, became a legend in the mountains, a story whispered around campfires to remind people of the power of wisdom and courage in the face of fearsome beasts.